John Boston. Yeah, I've been listening to I Hate Dogs. Oh my gosh. That dude is like the Coach Greg Adams of the dog nuttery world. Anyhow, today's red flags. Who's in the chat? I had a woman call me Paul for weeks, and that's not my name. That was a big red flag. That's funny. Wolf in the house. Shout out to Wolf, John, Matt, AKS back. Matt Downer in the house. Those red flags are out in the open. What are the hidden red flags? What are the red flags that you can tell? Right? Tattoos, piercings, multicolored hair, crazy eyes, multiple piercings, gaugings, tattoos across body parts that are visible, that are also, they shouldn't have tattoos over those body parts. How about that? What other red flags are there? Bright colored lipsticks, right? Costume type looking, physical attributes that you had to achieve through a doctor's office or a surgery center. But what are the hidden ones? AKS, tattoos, substance abuse, talks like a sailor, the list goes on. Driving down the road, done some golfing, says Timmy Kramer. AKS, I think you're absolutely right. I'm going to jump back to this. Substance abuse. You can't see that from right away, right? You don't know. I remember going out with a gal who drank like a fish. In fact, I think I've mentioned her a couple of times. I would show up on a Saturday. We might go to Park City, and she'd tell me at 10:30 in the morning, "Hey, Rad, just to be transparent, I've had 2 cocktails. 2 really meant 7. And then she was angry from then on. TC, good to see Timmy. Enjoying day golfing down in sunny AZ. John Boston, the dog moms. Dog nuttery for 300 Trebek. AKS, way too flirty with everybody. Another sign, sure. Male friends only. What about lots of issues with their girlfriends? Unable to have girlfriend relationships because they're always fighting and catfighting. Big red flag. What are the ones you don't see? Anything in pink is always a red flag. Takes red and white to make pink, right? Well said, Mr. Matt. Cito in the house. Shout out from Detroit. Shout out to you, CJ Wilkins. Check out CJ's channel, Absolute Knowledge Seekers channel as well. Women with daddy issues are walking, breathing red flags. Men, please stay away from them. I've always said that every now and again, I think the number one red flag is daddy issues. Number one. You ask, the quickest way to really vet is say, "Hey, tell me about your dad. What's he like?" "Oh, he's a jerk." Right then, you know exactly what happened. "Oh, I love him. I honor him. He's great. He always took care of me. He taught me lessons." You can tell a shit ton from someone that speaks ill of their father. If they speak ill of their father, you walk. In fact, you run. Well said, CJ. The second thing is addiction to social media. But those two go hand in hand, I think, in terms of a priority. I think a woman addicted to her iPhone. I've also said one of my red flags is Apple Watches. If you need a watch to constantly remind you that someone is reaching out or giving you attention, that's a huge red flag. Cesar, no female friends. We know a few of those. Daddy issues come from a broken family. Drinking for sure, says Mr. JB. Well said. E, Rad, if she was raised by a mother with personality narcissistic disorder, run for the hills. If I'm going to say 99.9% of all women would tend to have the traits of their mothers. Right? And if the dad is there and a good dad, they will seek traits in a man like their father. Now, not all the time, but the majority of the time. My sisters all married or get in relationships with guys like my dad. They're all my mom, but my sisters are my mother. AKS hangs out with 304s. Remember, you are who you hang out with. That goes for men and women. Men and women, you are who you hang out with. You hang out with losers, you become one. You hang out with 304s, you become one. You hang out with divorced people, you become one. Drama is another red flag. I always said that a lot of women in the 98% are archaeologists because they love to dig up the past. That is for sure. Don't have a driver's license and car was impounded with a boot. A boot on the front left passenger right passenger side for 300 Trebek, and a Polaroid over the check engine light of her dog. She has history of dating bums and or criminals. Yeah. Decision making. JL in the house. Good to have that comment as well. Cheaper groceries back when she can break up her lifelong friendship without caring. Texts and talks to mommy all day. Do you know how many relationships, Phil, and good to have you, I have seen of women that talk to their moms and destroy marriages? Again, I talked about this with Lisa the other night. When women got married 80 years and more, they dumped the mom, the sisters, the girlfriends, the cousin, the women, anything woman out of their life. Even then they realized, I mean, even back in the biblical days, cleave unto your husband. Cleave unto your husband. Is that in Ephesians or Thessalonians? I can't remember. Matt Downer, even Karens with daddy issue. I guarantee if you take a look at Karens, right, there is a mother or a daddy issue, big time. DM50 in the house, good to see you, brother. AKS, if she had a weak or absent father and her mom's at 304, she dealt a bad hand in fighting an uphill battle. And that wasn't her fault. Let's be real. A lot of these gals are raised in broken homes, and it's not their fault. Most likely that cycle is going to repeat. This is just something that says, hey guys, this is what we should look out for. If you're interested in potentially having a short-term relationship, or, I'm not anti anything. I'm only here to expose how to help folks have a better life by avoiding certain pitfalls. And these are the pitfalls. Red flags in the lassies, tattoos, the old drink problems, too many male friends, smoking and drinking addicts. What do you think about vaping? I think vaping is a sure sign to stay away. Well said, CJ. Just lost 93. When her mother introduces you, speaks on her daughter's behalf, telling you to just be patient because she's broken. Ooh, well said. Then handles the breakup for her daughter. Yes, I have CPTSD now. Well, just remember, you did nothing wrong. That is somebody that is unfixable. And there's a lot of guys that want to fix. We, from our nature, want to fix girls. We want to fix women. We want to help them be better. I have a friend that is constantly trying to work on this gal that is unrepairable. She's unable to pair bond, having over 50 to 100 partners. Alcoholic, tattoos, completely reckless, and he's still trying to save her. You can't. There are people that cannot be saved. With whatever you give them or do for them will not be saved. So watch out for that. Well said, Just Lost. Where's Just Lost from? Let me know where you're from. Whenever I meet a new lady, I ask her about her last relationship. If it's a red flag, if the relationship ending was 100% the guy's fault. She has zero accountability with him. She'll repeat it with you. Well, she will repeat everything. Okay, and this is what I said. I think I did a video on this a couple weeks ago. Well, I did a video. Whatever the previous boyfriend and her had will only be transferred to you now. It's literally like getting a new computer and she's transferring all the data to the new one. Nothing is going to change with the characteristics or the personality or the experience or the background or the behavior. It only gets transferred to you, and the patience is decreased when it gets there. So now, instead of having 6 months for all of the cracks in the foundation to appear, now they appear in 8 weeks, if not sooner. And it becomes harder and harder for her to respect the dude or to even maintain some sort of relationship. And then the next guy, it's less and less. I mean, it's a cycle that's constantly repeated and never repaired. And it will never be repaired. I had a woman who asked me what I like to drink. I said water. How about you? She said peach schnapps. Peach schnapps for 300 Trebek. When was the last time you heard the word peach schnapps? What do they put that in? An Arnold Palmer? D-Man 50, appreciate it, brother. We all good here. Who in the world? I was watching Greg Adams' channel, and I'm up to date with all of his live streams because I watch him on chipmunk mode. He's got so many guys in his chat, he cannot relate. Only with super chats, which is fine. There's a lot of people. It makes more sense having a very niche boutique relationship with everybody that I have an idea about a lot of you guys, and we can connect. And I like that. My whole idea and goal was to help one guy because somebody helped me. And I'm glad that we all share because I learned a hell of a lot from you guys. Cesar, conflicting core values, gives vague answers to questions, makes future plans on first date. I could go on forever. Coming from a woman's perspective. There's red flags on the guy's side too. You know what? I think a lot of the red flags on the guy's sides would probably rear its head, as Cesar has said, through neediness. Neediness, attachment, real quick. And there's a lot of guys that do it. T-Tox is in the house. Any stories you tell or comment you make, she has to one-up you. Ooh, that sounds like, somebody I was married to. Phil D, good to have you, T-Tox. Fakes like she has a high sex drive when you meet her. Well, just remember, very few maintain that. Very few maintain that. It's like when you're going for a job offer or a job opportunity and you're interviewing, you're excited and you're all into it. And you'll probably do well at it, but maintaining that excitement kind of wanes off. And I think that's what it's like with intimacy and relationships. It's kind of like a hook, carrot, if you will. Another red flag has to be women who are addicted to academia. They have 15 BA degrees and believe their education replaces the need to be feminine, submissive, and fit. It's like dating a guy. Yes. More degrees than a thermometer, CJ. Women that seek the approval and to learn more and more, but not not taking care of their responsibility biologically and subconsciously that a female has. The woman can't be the provider, but is trying to be. The man cannot be not a provider. It just doesn't work. The man is a protector and a provider. And this whole world has been flip-flopped with the snowflake generation because these boys have low testosterone. They don't provide. They don't protect. And then women are now turning into the men, and the men are turning into the women. And that's not figuratively. That's mentally, emotionally, and physically now. Go see all the gals that are jacked up with huge muscles that are acting masculine. No wonder there's no marketplace anymore. Well said, CJ. You can't win an argument that women will throw at you. As Chris Rock has said, Matt, the moment you're in an argument, you have lost. The worst part is I took her while she was getting divorced. Yep. That happens to a lot of guys. Listen, don't beat yourself up about it. A reflection of my own broken self. She met a rich, good-looking guy and is very happy now. I'm from DeLand, Florida. Well, I'm going to tell you something. The new rich guy will eventually wear its head. But at least you know what you do now and just don't repeat it. You just look at it as a rock you had to overturn and jump, and go over. You're going to be fine. Once she hits like 10 partners, pair bonding is almost impossible. Was it 10 or was it 5? You might be right, AKS. A woman over 10 partners cannot pair bond, which means there is no reason for you to be in a relationship with a woman that has more than 10 partners. She cannot pair bond with you. JL, if she says no to coffee date but suggests an upscale restaurant. That happened to me last year. Met a gal, Middle Eastern gal, very attractive from Arizona. Wanted me to take her to this restaurant, which was about, I don't know, 60 a plate. I said, no, we're going to Thai food. $12 a plate. She canceled. There you go. That was what you call a foodie call. Rad, I always ask women casually how their parents are doing. 80% of the time is, oh, they're fine, just watching the game. And sometimes they go on a 20-minute rant about their mom or dad, Matthew. Par for the course. Good to have you in the chat, Matt. Women I meet, they always say their last relationship was abusive and controlling and abusive. If she drinks many drinks like whiskey and tequila, not a good sign. What does a woman like to drink that is strong? Starts with a V and ends with an A. Peach Snob says Mysterio was a joke on Seinfeld. It still's a joke today. Who invented that? Love to know how that came about. Good to have you, Mysterio. Women never understand the concept of self-preservation because they're momentarily living in the moment. Remember, moment means emotional, in the moment. You're right. Whatever happens in the moment is truth, is how they feel that should be done. I like Rad, knows I'm a big classic rock fan, still exploring new music, bands like Rival Sons and Earthless. Hey, last night I was in Vegas watching LA Guns. They put on a great show, Mysterio. Zay, let's see what we got here. Zay the Smooth in the house. Good to have you. How have you been? Where do you hail from? Riggs Jr., evening to you, man. Good to have you. El Padrino back. El Padrino in the house. A red flag to me, a girl is overweight in her prime. If you're 200 pounds at 24, means you're going to be 400 at 44. There are chubby chasers, though. And you'd be surprised. In fact, you probably know, CJ, women of substantial weight also attract the CC. And the guys that ride them women are everyone from tall to short to bald to ugly to athlete to non-athlete, everything in between. But their ego is so inflated now that they literally think they're a princess. We're all legends in our own mind in that regards. I do see some of my male friends do have that neediness, and it's bad. I'm really not like that. You would be surprised, Mysterio. You look at guys that look like bodybuilders, MMA types that are massively weak emotional on the inside. It's everywhere. It's the culture we live in. Right? When you put a woman central to your life and everything, she takes your power. Riggs Jr., women as a whole are a red flag. Brandon Trueblood, howdy to you, brother. Good to have you in that chat. My female friend in Idaho, GA, is a 2% woman. She is great to her family and me. I've always said 98% are not recommended. Good for you, brother. Nothing wrong. Listen, we don't hate on women. We understand that 98% of them are not good for us. They're not good for us to maintain our excellence and to maintain our purpose. And that is based on the hive mind. It's based on media. It's based on the last 60 years of divorce. It's based on the current day modern thinking of social media, of attention seeking, all sorts of things. And guys, it ain't ever going back. So the pool just shrunk from 100% to now 98% are not recommended. They're the bad apples. There's only 1% to 2% that are. And the pool has shrunk. Don't think you're going to be able to rehabilitate one of these red flag 304s or a red flag in general. You can't. You cannot rehabilitate them, no matter how much love and emotion and attention and things. You cannot rehabilitate them. It's done. Knowing that is the cold hard truth, as Richard Cooper says. Knowing that says, hey, if I can't rehabilitate, if I'm spinning my wheels on 98% that are not going to provide a return on investment, they might provide a potential 1 or 2 night event, and that's it. Stay away from any sort of emotional or mental or physical or financial obligation. Pointless debts and financial responsibility, says D-Man. I would agree with that statement. Those are the hidden ones, financial. Unless they show up in a bucket of a car or have to take the train or a bus ride or someone's got to drop them off. You can't maintain that level of intimacy. That's why Rodney Dangerfield said, find a woman who can cook because the SCX will wear off, but you will always be hungry. John Boston, laying it down to Chinatown. Rodney Dangerfield, I can't get no respect. Neediness and sex and relationship thirst is a bad habit to stay in. Correct. 100%, Mysterio. She throws tantrum, then apologizes for it and says she's not usually like that. Wow. I think the first one is right on. Apologizing. There's very few women that apologize. Very few. And I'd say that's a red flag there. Non-apologetic, right? No accountability. Well said, Phil. Tattoo is a sure sign you're dealing with damaged goods, Mr. Amazing McTow. Check out his channel too. Mr. Amazing McTow. Well said, brother. Isn't pair bonding a form of neediness in a romantic relationship? That's a good question. I think you're onto something. I always ask about a woman's father. That's all you need to get a frame on where they are at. Yes, you can find a lot. And now I'm not saying 100% if they have great relationships, mean they're 100% worthy of hanging out with you. I'm saying 100% of them, there's not 100% that you would want to get with, but it is a good marker that says, hey, she doesn't hate men, or she respects her father enough that maybe she doesn't have tattoos. Maybe she didn't have a 304 phase. But that's not a guarantee. It's a help, but it's not a guarantee. Women don't even take responsibility of anything. I would say 98% of women do not take responsibility. Joe Biden, hey Rad, good to see you. Welcome. I've met women and in time do my own test. I tell them about a friend of mine who's really rich, and in about 10 seconds, if the woman says, oh, is he single? She's not a keeper. Well said. You guys want to get a quick instruction into female and male nature? Watch 90 Day Fiancé. Now, a lot of it's scripted. You'll see a lot of gold digger women that men thirst over, that bring them over from the Ukraine or the Philippines. Don't do what those guys do. Don't go after those girls those guys do. That's your number one education right there. One Fast in the house. Good to see you, brother. Check out One Fast channel. Putting out good content. Jerry C is in the house. Good to see you. We know Jerry. Mysterio. I heard LA Guns' new music was a lot more lethal from the little I heard the other day. Oh, it's pumping. Those guys, Phil Lewis is 64 years old, the lead singer. Tracy's 57? Still killing it. Yeah, great concert. Cheaper groceries don't take low-hanging fruit. I think that's well said. Well said. Those big women are princesses on slow Tuesdays. They got a bag of Twizzlers in one hand and a bus pass in the other. A girl with a mustache and a deep voice is a big red flag. I really hope so. That's got to be the biggest red flag out there. Visually. Tinder marked the rise of the land whales. Chads will pump and dump land whales every so often on a slow Tuesday. AKS. Truth be spoken. Radicalized online. Good to have you. I know my community. Fat chicks get a lot of attention with bums who are needing a place to stay or a car to drive. I'm not sure attracts them to NFL linemen, built ladies, but more power to them. I'm seeing more and more couples where the woman is literally possibly 1.5 to 2 times heavier than the dude. And it doesn't matter color anymore. It used to be like Sir Mix-a-Lot, Baby Got Back. A lot of the black guys like white gals with, and black gals with, a larger back. But now I'm seeing skinny white dudes with huge women too. So thirst has no color. Heard a commercial on XM, said, ladies, we know you're going through a divorce or soon will be. Sell your ring on our... Oh, jeez. Attaboy. How is that not surprising? I mean, you're hearing divorce commercials. Hey, you know what? It happens. Marriage lead to divorce. Look us up when that happens, man. And you usually hear it on the rock stations. I feel that heavy chicks seem more eager for physical fun than the leaner chicks at first. Mysterio. I think a lot of the heavy chicks, I mean, it used to be feast or famine for them, but now, I'm telling you, the gal that lived above me 2 stories when I first moved out, she had a pretty face, but she was 300 pounds. She had guys in and out all day long. Athletes. A guy that was drafted by Atlanta Hawks, 1996, with Malik Rose. I met him because he coached another team that competed with my son's team, and he was there. She definitely had she was very interested in athletes, basketball athletes from Weber State, and they weren't white. Brandon says, huge red flag is a trash car or dirty apartment. Ooh, I like it. If a woman has a dirty car or a dirty apartment, yeah, what does that tell you? Right? Loving the fast. Yep. One's got a lot of good stuff. Even the shorts. Those little 20, 30 seconds are great. And it's helped, let's get the message out. Let's help our fellow brothers. I told my mother that I don't believe in an LTR, that I believe that STR is the best option for men around my age. Yeah, absolutely. Did she go crazy, say I was going to have a mental breakdown? No. You are going to be a king in 10 years with every potential possibility and option. You put your life and faith into a gal at your age, you will crash and burn quick. It's not because of you. It's because of the marketplace and the landscape we live in. Brad, do you subscribe to Sirius Radio where Sten and Eddie Trunk dwell? No, but I watch typically Eddie's stuff on YouTube. I should, though. Lisa Smith back. Hey, Rad, and hello to the chat. We went to the range today. Proves I need to go more often, but I did okay. Good for you. You might need a red or a green dot. You know what that is? I learned about it this weekend. A red and a green dot to help you with accuracy. Thanks for being here. You guys check out that chat that Lisa and I did the other day. Good to get her perspective. Several topics we covered. All relationships are transactional, says River Rat. You know what? I would agree with that 100%. There is a transaction. There is something that we all are seeking out of a relationship, whether it is family, a brother and sister, a father. We're all seeking something. Could be validation, love, attention. And it goes on the opposite. It doesn't even have to be romantic. It could be platonic. There's very few relationships that are non-transactional. For the most part, most are. I got a buddy a real good friend of mine, but he wants to go and snowboard in February. I don't fly to snowboard. I have the best snow on earth here. But he wants to go. But he wants to go with me. But I don't want to go. So that was a transactional potential. Just because he didn't want to snowboard by himself. But I'm not going to go because number one, I don't travel to snowboard on planes with all that gear. And I'm not that big into it anymore. That is very true about chubby chicks. Those are the ones who will talk you up in the supermarket with a shopping cart full of Mountain Dew and Sour Patch Kids. And chicken and biscuit crackers. The Ballad of Jane is a killer track I know of. Oh, just listen to all of them, Matt. You'd love it. They played that last night. The whole audience sang it. They always played that. I was usually an encore. But yes, those guys kill it. And I don't even think that is... I mean, that's a great song, but LA Guns is fast and hard. And then, they got popular with that song because it was, it was a ballad. Great song, but check out their other stuff. One Xanderman flirts with married guys at the office. The work husband. Good to have you, brother. Well said. In 90 Day Fiancé, I don't see how the heavy women Susan would have gotten with that African guy. I shake my head at the stupidity, but I have to continue to watch it because it's so stupid. But yet, it's so bad, but so good at the same time. I don't think I'd be watching it if I was where I was at today. Church girls are covert narcissists. There's a lot of issues with church women. The predatory female talks about church women in that book. I didn't realize I still had Facebook. I went back to properly delete it. Now I have to wait 30 days. I'm done with that part of social media. Good. It's a waste of time. Complete waste of time. Rad, that friend of mine, when I see him and his women walking, they look like number 18, as CJ would say. Oh, man. Mission Impossible. Mission Impossible. Illusion Smasher's back. Good to have you. Were there a few casualties with Chubby chasing? Oh, man. You got to take care of yourself. That's just me. I prefer a female that takes care of herself mentally, physically, emotionally. All the things that we talk, that the red flags. But man, are they difficult to find. I don't believe in marriage. All it is signed contract to a government. I believe marriage is a man-made. I don't think God. No, well, yeah. Well, marriage back in the day was religious-based. The government wasn't involved, but now it is. In the institution of marriage a couple hundred years ago, I can't remember. Someone should do I think Coach Craig Adams did something on the history of marriage, but it was all church-related back then. And most people didn't divorce because it was done in their congregation or their affiliation to whatever sect they belonged to. But you're right. I don't think the version that God created is the version today. No way. What sports do they compete in? Soccer, basketball, and my other boy, baseball. Those guys with the thick chicks are victims of the AMS type of guy and doing them down and promising them a dream. Well said, John. Jim McIntosh is back. Good to have you, Jim. Been a while. Women taking pills. Happy pills. Happaroo. Those happy pills. A woman on head meds is another hidden red flag that you don't know of. That is a very dangerous one because that woman is not her true self when she's on a head med. How many of those women, Timmy, are taking them in Scottsdale in between 45 and above? Women with multiple children with multiple last names are the biggest red flag I could think of. Kudos to wanting to create the United Nations in your home, but no thanks. Or the United Order of Benetton. Remember Benetton clothing? They had one picture. They had one model of every color, creed, shape, and size. But you're right, CJ. A woman that has multiple baby daddies? Oh, yeah. That is a woman that makes horrible decisions. And you know what? She'll continue to make them because the history has proven that it repeats itself. Riggs Jr., one fast, good fella, even if he drives a Chrysler. Well, he's got those Dodges that are souped up. What are they doing? 500 horsepower one? Growing your own groceries is time consuming, but cheap. Jim McIntosh. Well, I think having that skill how to garden will eventually come into huge demand considering where we are in this world. As we head into 2022, a red flag is a woman who draws breath. Be careful, brother, says CJ. I think you've always got to have your guard up, regardless, even with the 1% to 2%ers. I think you've got to be strong. You've got to think logically. What return on investment do I get out of this? After you've diagnosed what green flags, remember I said green, and what red flags she has. If there's tons of red flags and bad red flags, that is a ticket to get out of there ASAP. You are young, buy rental or commercial real estate and build your future. Don't waste time with women. In 10 years, you'll be better off than anyone you know. That right there is worth millions of dollars to Joe Biden. 100%. If she was raised by a stepdad or her real dad was a simp, she has dysfunctional ideas on dating. Damn right. I dated a girl a few years ago. The first time I met her mother, she said to me, "I hope you know what you're getting yourself into," says the whisperer. I wish I listened to her now. Now that's a red flag. The mother was pointing out she had red flags, the whisperer. Wow. 90 Day Fiancé is a live action of the biggest Sims ever created on God's green earth. To inherit a debt as a foreign gold digger is insane. It is such a bad show, but it's so good. Especially when they go overseas. The simping, the thirsting, the mouthiness of some of these broads. Earlier today, I was in line at Walmart and caught the woman in front of me pick her crack and smell her finger go, jeez. Faces of Walmart. Is that site still around? That is funny. Do you think a gun could discharge a blank or bullet without pulling the trigger? Oh, the Alec Baldwin saga. I've never seen a gun do that. Never seen a gun jump up and shoot its own self, or well, to auto shoot. I don't think that exists, but Alec Baldwin delusion for 300 Trebek. Better seen than viewed, Jim McIntosh. My ex was actively speaking to multiple men behind my back who all go to the same gym, just friends, apparently. They've all run through her since our split. What a coincidence. She's better off in the hands of those men. You cannot fix her. My childhood friend who used to date a good-looking woman recently got married to a landwell. Career woman, I was disappointed. I was so disappointed. You didn't go to the wedding. Dodged a bullet. One fast act, Me Too buying a new vehicle with the inflation craziness is financial suicide. Even used cars right now are out of control prices. Crazy. The church record books held original records, then the court. Today it's backwards. It is completely backwards. River Rat. Love is the delusion that one woman differs from another. Love is a chemical trifecta. Buy a used car and fix it up right now. New stuff is crazy expensive right now. Jim McIntosh. You know, a lot of folks out here, I've been reading articles that older guys like 55 and up are buying old cars that don't rely on electronics, like cars in the 70s or early 80s, that don't rely on circuit boards and all this crap. You know, that just have an engine and a drivetrain. But you're right, fix them up. I was with a woman and she was taking Wellbutrin and Prozac. I made like the flock of seagulls. I ran so far away. Yep. Wellbutrin, guys, if you find out a woman's on Wellbutrin, that is the sign to literally thank her for her time and give yourself the old 180 and get the hell out of there. She had the Jordache look that went straight to shit. Jordache jeans for $300. Modern dating offers men 3 options: stepdad, fat, ugly girls, or MGTOW. I don't think you're wrong with that. It's a struggle on the daily that has lived its entire life in the salt. Men have to understand that marriage is an illusion. The ring isn't going to create a chastity for that hollow womb. There'll be 3 cover bands and an NFL roster in there before your 3rd anniversary. CJ coming up with some good stuff. It's pity sex better than no sex at all, says Illusion Smasher. That happened to me back in 12. Is that a red flag? I obviously refused the sex offer. I felt it wasn't the right situation, especially when she left to Florida. I think you did the right thing, my friend. We are in the Schlamicron cuffing season, guys. Be careful. Wear your masks. Kidding. My buddy had his ex-wife tell him after she surprised him with her desire to divorce him with no counseling to work things out. She stated she was on antidepressants. How could he not know that? He might not have known. A lot of women take lots of medication. Slam Cave. Hope you're doing well, brother. Colored hair, head meds, social media, and so many tattoos. Well said. When I was having issues with my ex, her father said to me, "You're a good guy, but she is going to make you miserable like her mother made me miserable." Look at the mother. Look at the mother and the father. The apple doesn't fall far from the tree. Pay attention to the way her mother treats her father. That is the type of relationship she will seek. Absolutely. And if it doesn't, if it completely seems opposite, if she does not seem like her mother now, oh, just wait. That programming is already in there. Just a matter of time till those layers of the onion peel away. What do you think of the edge for a car? Ford Edge? They're all right. I'd like to see it in something bigger, like a Ford Explorer, though. A woman with too much sexual experience is a red flag. Yes, once he's been hit from back like a drunk driver by too many guys, she has an inability to pair bond and be content with you for eternity. Mm-hmm. What about bad driving? What about bad driving as a red flag? What do you guys think about that? Bad driving equals lack of patience, lack of discernment. None of my male friends that I know, including you and I, have ever been on antidepressants. Stay away from that shit. Best thing you can do is move. That is how you get your energy to get in line for a better and peaceful path, is to move. It's literally physically moving. Father Saunders back. They are all red flags. Everything. She looks at you. She talks to you. She likes you. She texts you. She wants you. Smells good. She's good looking. She is nice. All red flags. Truth, truth, truth. Father Saunders. Check out Father Saunders' channel as well. He's getting some good stuff. Navigating Divorce, Part 3. I didn't want to listen to her mother. I was conditioned to believe her mom was a narcissist. The pot was calling the kettle black. Birds of a feather flock together. And something for which nothing came between her and her Calvins. Brooke Shields was a pretty girl back then. Wow. Remember that ad campaign? Some of my female coworkers have had time off and had to go on meds. Somebody that goes on meds, now in some cases it's necessary, but a lot of the cases being subscribed is not necessary. It's a easy way out, but the easy way leads to literal destruction, emotional, mental destruction. If she posts selfies multiple times a day, she's for the streets. Damn right. A woman with too high a body count is a red flag as well. Once she's been hit from the back like a drunk driver by community, she has an inability to settle down with one man sexually. Absolutely. And the promiscuity is through the roof. You guys got to be careful of that. Everyone. Being in a relationship with a female is dangerous and risky. And that way, that's what you don't want from a woman. Absolutely. You got it. It's risky. You got to look at the risks and the rewards. And today's modern woman is not recommended. She posts just jumped. I think I just ran through this. Did I not run through that? When the father gives you a heads up about a daughter, that is the biggest blessing you could receive. That man is saving you from a life of confusion, heartache, and pain. Kudos to those dads. Yes, I would agree. If bad driving is a red flag, all women are red flags. You're not wrong. A broke woman, that's too easy. Who needs help right away? Slam cave. Yes. It's a woman that potentially has made bad decisions with what she had. What is going to make you different? In my opinion, women are great at concealing their true, authentic self. They show you what they think you want to see and tell you what you want to hear. Love bombing for 300 Trebek. I know a woman who's a bad driver, but it's not her fault. It was the mean state police trooper who arrested her for DWI after she flipped her car over. Oh, he's mean. That falls under my category called accountability for 300 Trebek. I don't want no kids either. Taking care of kids is a responsibility. I'd rather be free and peaceful. I support that, and I have kids. I had a chick over my home a couple years back. She asked me to start her car per the breathalyzer. That's funny to me. I had a gal that says every time she gets in the car, she gives it a blowjob. About a year ago. Navigating Divorce Part 4 is up. Ooh, I'll have to check that out. JR Absence, good to see you, brother. As you raise your kids, you control their sugar intake with pop and candies as they were growing. Yes, we weren't we were moderate. We knew when they had too much, but we weren't also like anti-sugar. Does that make sense? Never trust a woman doesn't fart around you. No telling what else she's holding back. Mr. Amazing MGTOW. My father always said, if they didn't have a honeypot, you wouldn't be interested. It's not worth the heartache, financial loss, or stress. Take it from guys that have been married and divorced. You are correct. They hide their true identity. Love bombing is a smokescreen to hide issues too. Yes, speaking of meds, chicks who are on an insane amount of meds is a red flag indeed. Medication, another hidden red flag. If she has her head down in the phone at all times, I understand you have to look at it, but constantly looking as they are afraid to make eye contact. A lot of these girls have social anxiety. Yes, they do. The insecurities through the roof. I talked to a medical practitioner right now. The anxiety behavioral health area of healthcare is exploding. You want to go into healthcare? Don't be a doctor. Be a psychologist or a therapist for people going through anxiety. I'll be going through all the relevant points of the decree. Ooh, that'll be a good one, guys. Check out Father Saunders' channel on that. One Fast is in as well. AKS, amazing. MGTOW, CJ's channel. What else we got? I went through lots of false alleys and a child custody battle and feel your pain. It's real, guys. This is real. Look at the red flags. And most of the red flags outside of the visual are hidden ones. Addiction, head meds, family relationships, accountability, debt. You can't see debt on the outside typically. I know a girl who claims she only drinks once a week yet needs to blow her car before she starts it. There's a lot of them. You guys should do that epic life. Yeah, get Boston on. That'd be great. I'd love to hear it. Phil D, still can't get over the fact that I was discarded so easily after 7 years. Well, I said that after 20 years with 3 kids. It is just reality. Nothing you did is wrong. Women's brains and emotional states are very different from men's. You have to just accept it, write your list of pros and cons down, and if you need help, you can send me an email. I used to feel inadequate compared to my friends, all married with kids. Now I feel sorry for them. Yeah, feel a little, yeah, if you see a guy with a wife and kids, silently root for him. Marcella is in the house. Good to see you, Marcella. Hope all is well. What's the latest with Marcella? Maybe a good shit test for men, girlfriends, would be ask her if she'd be okay getting married by a justice of the peace with a borrowed wedding dress. There you go. Lisa Smith, she's pulling back the covers. That would be a very good question. The wall is the truth. The wall's undefeated. That we know of. I really could smoke a cigarette right now. You could, but do you choose to? That is the question. Most of them are subcontractors to their wives. The man's money is hers and her money is her money. If that ain't the truest that I've ever heard spoken, then I'm a big, gigantic marshmallow sitting in a chair. That is truth. Jay McIntosh, I'm out, no money. Well, I would walk around if you have that craving. Just get out and start walking. I can't believe that romantic relationships these days are hard. No easy way for men and women to go long-term nowadays. It feels like women bail easily. They bail because there's so many options. What makes you or any guy special? Please tell me. When they have hundreds of guys that are infiltrating every part of social media, text, work, you name it. Yeah, women bail quick, Mysterio. I've learned that women discard what you have done for them in the past. Ooh, it's all about the present moment. They often discard the positive and amplify the negative. Very well said, but I like to say they rewrite history. A lot of them. Mine did. Oh, the history was rewritten. It was a completely different historical record of our marriage. But yet I've got pictures and videos to show that, hey, life was actually at multiple times through those 20 years happy. But according to my counterpart, it was never happy. History Rewritten history for 300 Trebek. Doing dishes instead, keeping hands busy. Good for you, brother. Keep yourself busy. Idleness leads to addiction. Doing nothing, sitting in front of screens. If you're not learning or collaborating, that and just sitting around and doing the same thing. I always say move. When I'm feeling that way, I get the fuck up and start walking. Excuse my French, but that's what I do. I gotta walk. Clears your head. It opens up that energy to move. Energy moves when you move. So if you're feeling down or you have cravings, when you move your energy, things shift. If family court is a moneymaker, I guess the clergy is as well. If it feels like the clergy will marry anyone. Potentially. Red flags turn off. She has tattoos like a convict. Smokes, drugs, color dyed hair, has a filthy mouth. Yep. And the hidden ones are even harder to find. That's when you start betting them. Women use men even on a friendship level. They don't really care about you, only what you're doing for them, says Teddy Boy Smith. Good to have you, brother. I read this article, or I actually saw this YouTube, that a lot of women use gay guys, guys that are, they hang out, they got a lot of friends that are gay, but they use the gay guy for emotional tampon support as well. And gay men have said, these women, they experienced being used from that perspective, where a lot of guys feel like they're being used for their resources, the heterosexuals, but the homosexual men felt used by a lot of these women friends they had. And then once the woman got a new boyfriend, she dumped the guys, or the gay guys. So I think it's definitely passes the mustard on those areas. Rad, what do you think the world is going to look like in 10 years? How about 10 months? I think it's going to be extremely snowflake-ish if there's not a civil conflict. Snowflakes, you're going to see more political correctness, more obstacles in living daily life. That's what I think. There's not a conflict within the next 10 years. I'm talking a civil one where it's not emotionally or verbally fixed. We're screwed. I was dating a single mother who has 2 kids, threw in the towel, losing money left and right and center. I prefer to invest in myself. I don't want to pay for another man's children on the daily. Good for you, brother. You'll never be first, ever. You'll be first when it comes to money, but nothing else. Ask Father Saunders about marrying a single mother with a child. Marriage is an illusion. Well, at one point, I believed in it. I wanted to be married, and I now agree on your standpoint. Rad, are there days where you shut down the social media? I don't even have social media. I have a fake Facebook. It's under a fake name, and I use it for my mountain bike network. Other than that, I don't use it. It's stupid. Walking is wonderful for you. Jim, speaking of pardon my French, any desires to go to Paris? Where in Europe would you want to go? For me, it's the UK because of all the great music. I'd go to the UK, absolutely. Manchester, London, Leeds, Sheffield, where Def Leppard's from. I would rather, for me to go to Europe, I have no desire to go to France. I mean, maybe from historical, but I want to go to Spain, Portugal, maybe a day or 2 in Russia. I don't have any desires to go to the North Pole. Iceland, I have no desire. I'm kind of a Central South America guy. Let's be real, no shit real. I think even a more profound question is, what isn't a red flag in regards to women today? Yeah, you might be right, Father Saunders. Absolutely. There's so many of them. 98% are not recommended. They have too many. Do 1% to 2%ers have red flags? Sure. But they're very, very minimal. But you have to be very careful. Think dating is harder for men for the most part because of feminine is, in my opinion, I 100%. It's dangerous. It's very dangerous today. I walk a lot to de-stress, says JR. Good for you. Best thing you can do out there. Eddie Murphy, Rock, gay men are the best friends to have. Lisa Smith. I would agree with that. Supposedly, men need to start focusing on their finances. Forget the women. Focus on your future success, and you can worry about everything else, says the doghouse. Well said. In 10 years, there's going to be 789 genders, and you're going to have to introduce yourself with your proper pronouns. It'll probably become a law. Don't ask Father Saunders about what it's like marrying a single mother with children. Just go to his channel and watch his Navigating Divorce. I think you talked about it there. We talked about it on our live stream. How come in psychology they state that men who are in relationships will live longer than their single brothers? Probably because, Mr. The single brothers are out having fun, and they live hard and fun. And maybe the married guy lives such a passive life that he doesn't take the risks of, doing things that really push him. Who knows? Or maybe it's just, it would depend on the single guy. Maybe if the single guy that didn't have a companion that was sad and lonely dies earlier versus the man that does and feels safer that way. But I think that's going to change because single men, especially that understand the red pill, are going to have an amazing life. Let's see. I was first when it came to money and paying for her rent. I didn't love me for me. She loved me for my finances. Well, she was seeking resources. It wasn't her fault. She needed resources. And unfortunately, think about this. You now have learned something that you never want to repeat. Good for you. JR, I'd go to Japan or Australia for the surf. I would not mind visiting Japan or Australia. I think those would be great. Iceland is where Zeppelin wrote Immigrant Song. Ooh, I didn't know that. Raw 1987. Now that's a fire, Gus. I had a single mom say to me on a first date that she and her child were a package deal. That's not a package I'm interested in. Return to sender for 300 Trebek. Girls I've dated in their 30s seem to be emotionally damaged. Men in the present are being punished for the mistakes other men have made in the past. Exactly. Everything is transferred to the new guy from the last guy, the guy before that. You understand it? If a woman has had 15 boyfriends, her amount of patience with you will be almost zero. Everything that she has transferred from those guys to each guy will be transferred to you twice as hard and twice as much. You, my friend, just literally started a hike with 300 pounds of cement in your backpack. And you're hoping your body and your energy and your enthusiasm is going to get that up the mountain quicker because you're in love. Nope. Come to Canada, I'll take you on a snowmobile ride. Love to go up to Canada again. It's a wonderful country, especially Alberta. I'm 35 and I think I'll be living alone the rest of my life. Any advice on living a good life without being lonely? Be free, Asia. Move your body, learn new things, enjoy the companionship of like-minded people. There's nothing worse than being in a room with people that have zero likes and interests that you have that bring you down. Go and travel, be by yourself, meet people. That is where you will thrive. The whole idea I have to be around someone to be whole is bullshit. That is what will lead you down a path of misery. Once you find out that you are your best ally, that you are the only one that can validate yourself, you can go anywhere and be alone and be just as content. Learn on a skill. I would say at your age, travel if you have money. You can also move. Guatemala, I was just there. Guatemala, people are working jobs that are from their home countries and having an amazing life. And they're all alone. They meet people. That's what I would say. Go travel. Go travel. If you have the money. And it's not very expensive to be in South or Central America. Learn books, read books, learn skills, do something that pushes you. Make videos, start a channel. That's what I tell guys, start a channel. Bob Dole made it to 98. Is that natural? Is there a natural expert? 98 is great. That's that. I bet his last 15 years of life, 20 years of life was full of massive medical issues. That doesn't seem attractive to me. Teen pregnancy is a red flag. Yeah, ain't that the truth? My ex cheated on me with a married man. My ex was married and cheated on me, and I was a married man. I've learned a lot about women's nature over the years, and my beta simp counselor tried to vilify me and manipulate me because I was angry at women. Z-Force 196. Typical. You know the truth. Nothing wrong with you, brother Z-Force. He thought he was getting a good deal. In reality, she's an emotional wreck. Good luck, bro. You're going to need it. Feel sorry for the guys she monkey branched to. Really. And I'm not saying that like sarcastically. Like this guy is going to get everything that you got twice as fast and with less patience. There is no future for this guy. Sit back and watch the train wreck. I can never imagine coming home to a woman who wears the pants in the family. That's not how I grew up, Timmy. My mom was my dad's co-pilot. One of my female friends thinks that her latest guy is going to break up with her. So from her 20s to 70s, this guy is number 6. Does this mean she can't pair bond? She's probably right. Probably, yeah. I wouldn't want to go any further with that. Maybe if she rides the next 5 to 10 potential, she's not going to be able to pair bond. She can stay under 8. I mean, I'd like 5 or under is preferable. Give her some advice. Say, you know what? At this point, she's in it for, if she keeps going and dating and being intimate with men, she's definitely, what's the word? It's just not going to work. I'll be 35 soon. You're never alone. Transcend yourself. Don't compare yourself to others. At the end of the day, your only moments in time. You only own moments in time. Don't look back upon your life with regret. 100%. Well said. More life experience than just being a relationship. Life is beautiful to experience, like travel, seeing new things. Oh, yeah. Experience is wealth. Experience is wealth. Wealth is not wealth. Experience is. Even going through a breakup is wealth, because now you understand you can choose differently and have better consequences from the choices you make. There's always a consequence, good or bad, from the choices you make. So accept and appreciate what you've been through, good or bad, because now you have the ability to navigate life based on those experiences. FJT. In the house, also learn new languages and find instruments you like. Remember, fellas, you're the captain of your ship. FJT. Laying it down in Chinatown. Good to have you, brother. Check out FJT's channel as well. In 10 years, the sheeple will be on their 30th booster clock shot. Ain't that the truth? Wise words right here. You're the master of your own destiny. If you can really accept that and believe it, you can have a good life. If you believe that somebody else holds your power, you can't be whole unless you have a girlfriend or you're married or you live with someone. You came in this world alone and you will die alone. So learn to be alone. And those that come into your life, appreciate their presence. Even if they stay for a short time, you learn something. Every man is a link in the chain of your good, whether they're good or bad, because you've learned something for your own good. And that could be you learn to navigate away from toxicity, away from people that are narcissistic or solipsistic. You now have a frame of references that is worth more than all the money in the world. When I see my buddy in the frame with his fiance, I just say, when will they break up? He lost his imaginary frame by doing what she wanted him to do. And yeah, that table has now turned. That table has now turned. Cut it out, Rad. Traveling and having a peace of mind is cope. You're cope maxing, I know. I should just accept the fact that I'm a loser. I'm not going to cope anymore. I'm going to just accept the fact and then crawl in my bed and die. Coping for 300 Trebek. I wonder how Adam Sampson, Superman, would even have a chance with today's modern woman now. He'd be monkey branched too. You know? He'd be monkey branched. If Degrassi High should have taught me anything, it's not to trust the ladies. I would rather say, when someone says don't trust women, that it comes off as like a negative, but I would say be aware of female nature and make your decision. But trust yourself. That's really the only trust that's out there, is only in yourself. How many times have we been betrayed by both men and women? Friends. You might have had a friend that slept with your lady. You might have had a friend that cheated you and lied to you after 20 years of friendship. To trust, put all that trust in yourself, but be aware of the potential weaknesses that could come about if you give everybody, people your trust right away. Trust is a very difficult thing to attain and impossible to get back if it's broken. I'm sorry. But you break trust, you can't get it back. No matter how many nails you put in that emotional whatever, you ain't getting it back. When your relationships end, attain greatness. Your ex wants you to fail in order to reinforce her belief that she made the right decision. And I say, go and be the best version of yourself for you, not for her, for you. Well said. Yes, men are more prone to loneliness. We stay very strong, but we deal with it. Loneliness is a skill you have to overcome. It's as simple as that. You've got to go out and get yourself out there. You've got to be alone. Ryan Barkley in the house. Good to see you. Thanks for being here. Tell me where you are located. Joel, if you spent $5,000 on your girlfriend, you'll save a lot more if you leave her. Whew. That's funny stuff. Once he learns to enjoy solitude, being around women and low-quality men are taxing on you. You've been getting to see. It's a superpower. Handle women like a venomous animal. Don't just be very, very careful and cautious. And take the time to understand both the visual and the hidden flags. I understand why men move to the woods. So do I. So do I. Submissive needs to be redefined in today's society. It could mean co-pilot, a helpful mate. Absolutely. And that's how I mean it. It's submissive as in you're a helper, not you're being tread and locked up in the side of a corner and you can't do anything. That's not what we mean. When I feel like nobody understands me, I come to the manosphere. Cheap groceries. There you go. Lots of guys out here in channels, even in the comments, that are here for guys that are lonely, guys that are experiencing what this is firsthand, that need, some companionship in the manosphere. That's what we're here for. I was feeling alone, happy. But I was feeling alone and happy you're streaming right now. Good, Taurus. Good to have you. When you start feeling sad, it's because you're thinking of giving somebody else your validation. That's all it is. That means you're not validating yourself. So you got to get up and do something. You got to push yourself. Get away from the screen. Get away from the TV, the video game, whatever you're doing, and get out. Walk, drive, meet someone. Go to a bar, watch a show, drink a soda pop, have a burger. Look around you. Red pill reveals red flags, says Jason. Well said, brother. Truth, truth, truth. Good to have you. Ryan from Detroit, 8 Mile. Are you a Tigers fan? A Lions fan? A Pistons fan? I bet you are. Where's your next trip to, Rad? Oh, FJT. Good question. I don't know. I'm still thinking Central or South. I think I need to take my 2 boys to Mexico with me. That's, I think, my next trip. Brutal over here, all the heavies in Detroit. Makes it easy to stay single. And it's like Oregon and Washington. Yeah, not a lot of lookers over there. Is that what, as my father and I would say? Ugly women are meaner than the pretty ones in my experience. I don't think you're wrong about that. Will the pain ever go away? Yes, yes, yes. The pain is only there because you allow it to be there. You accept it, accept your pain. You say to myself, I'm going to give you the recipe right now. I accept that my ex, my girlfriend, my wife left me. Say it 10 times a day for the next week. Your brain will go to great lengths to make that a reality and bring in new opportunities and experiences and people to make that acceptance. If you don't accept that, your brain's going to keep trying to fix it. And then you write your list down, pros and cons, and you read that every damn day. And I guarantee you'll have 5 cons to every pro. You take a picture on your phone and you read it when you feel sad. That's how I got over it. Solitude makes you tougher, in my opinion. I would agree. All you got is yourself, guys. When you're asleep at night and dreaming, there's nobody else around you that you can see or touch or feel. You're by yourself a third of the time. Now learn to work with that. Anyone else noticing all the polyamorous couples nowadays? There's a ton of them, but I think it's a trend, and it's just because they know it's over. Relationships, for the most part, are pretty much done. 98% of relationships. I'm submissive, not a doormat. Big difference. I acknowledge my place in our house. You are a co-pilot. A Mexican rad trip with sons is a must. Yes. It's time to take the boys. Once you put on the red pill reading glasses, you can see women's crystal sharp for the users they have become in the past 40 years. It's definitely a red pill superpower, Timmy. 2000, you're right. They contribute very little. Do I believe in hypnosis? Never worked on me. I think there's power in the subconscious, but the hypnosis, I don't know. Maybe I went to the wrong, I've never gone to see one, but maybe hypnosis is good with like stop smoking or stop overeating or something, but completely rewiring your brain, I don't know about that. Maybe. I don't have enough like data for myself to really think about it. Being submissive doesn't mean being a slave. It means letting a good man lead the way. Marcella N. Well, there's truth right there, right? Women, solid women, respectful, the 1% to 2% are looking for leading men. And if you ask Marcella, there's not a lot of men that lead out there in her age group. Or probably within I would say 5 to 10 years past your age, Marcella. There's not a lot of leaders of men. A lot of emotional men. Real men are loners. Don't let women dictate your happiness, joy. Don't expect anything from women other than the disappointments and troubles. A man once told me, don't ever cry over a woman. Just be aware of what men and women are, what our nature is. No reason to hate. Understand this. If everybody understands this simple concept that you only validate yourself, that is the only validation you need, the one looking at you in the mirror, and not putting anybody center to your life and seeking to put yourself first above everybody else, I guarantee your relationships will be much better. Both platonically, your guy-friend relationships, and potential relationships with women. But what do? We expect that we need to find someone, and Rad did the same thing. Rad thought putting a woman as my wife as the center would be the best thing that I could do, and that wasn't true. It also meant most relationships are based out of needing validation from the other party, both men and women. When you realize that only you can validate yourself, that's when you will be strong. Legion Smasher, red men are loners. Real men, yes. Men realize they don't need anybody around, and they choose peace and quiet. Hendrix or Page? I think Page is a better songwriter, but I love Hendrix. That's a tough one, Mysterio, because I like Jimmy Page. But who can go wrong with Jimi Hendrix? I mean, come on. Guy was a virtuoso, completely out of this world. What was your favorite food in Guatemala? Pupusas. That's the harina, the flour that looks like a thick pancake with cheese and meat and beans and potatoes inside. Fasting is the only way to control weight over anything I've done. I still get compliments every 3 to 6 weeks. Just trying to get to 175 from 186 or so. Good for you, brother. Best thing you do is shake it up. Go 2 days without fasting. Be a little bit, don't eat 10 pizzas, but, give yourself a little bit of a treat and then get back onto it for 2 days. I've found for me, when I shake it up, it gets better. And then I haven't done a hard dry fast for a while. I've got to do that, which is 24 hours of no food, water, or contact with water. For some reason, that helps me. It literally gets my body going crazy in terms of weight loss and health and everything. Guys my age act like women. Attention-seeking, feminine hairstyles, piercing. This is why I date much, much older men, says Marcella. And Marcella is in her early 20s, guys. Listen to a woman in her early 20s. What the marketplace is. It's quite easy to see that the majority of women are only looking for attention. Temporary mindset, temporary people, very typical. Well, that's because the hive mind has pushed the need for all women to seek attention on social media, selfies, TikToks. It's crazy, but you're absolutely right, Edward. The Zone Vivo blankety blank. What is your favorite hobby that I control your stress? Playing guitar or mountain biking or skateboarding. And where are you from? Do they have fast food in Guatemala? They do. There was a Panda Express. They have their own chicken type KFC. Chick-fil-A is called El Pollo Campero. They had McDonald's. They had, what else? Subways. I was blown away. KFC. I think they had Popeyes. I might have seen an Arby's. They had Domino's Pizza everywhere. Do simps win because they sustain a long marriage? No. A guy that sustains a long marriage, number one, is despised already. Women do not like simps. They don't like weak men. No matter what they say, they don't like weak men. They like men that lead. So there's a reason that woman keeps them around. Most relationships are chemically addicted at that point. They literally have chemicals that are addicted to each other. She's addicted to his simpiness and always creating drama and arguments with him. And he's addicted to that as well, always being the butt of her jokes. But no, they don't win. They didn't win after they got married, after that marriage cake was eaten. Mr. Valorum, within 3 months of marriage, she wouldn't even sit close to me on the couch, yet she accused me of always being abusive, intimate, abusive on her. It broke me. Yeah, well, guess what? You're a better person now for being here, and you're stronger. Even though you don't think about it, you're stronger. The biggest red flag in my case was she would never leave her phone, even when she went to the bathroom. She was glued to her phone. Well, that's most women today. It's most women today. You're no special. You're not special. Nor she was special. Nor your ex was special. She's not. That woman is like every 98%er. My daughter's like that. Ryan Barkley, that's not winning. Now, being a simp in a relationship or a marriage is not winning. Does the meat in Guatemala taste different than you tell me? That's a great question. I think so. Yeah. In fact, I actually thought about that when I was there. I had an ex that was Guatemalan. She gave me fried yuca once. It was fun. Fried yuca is good. I didn't see any places that had yuca. I had empanadas, plantains, Their plato típico, which was beans for breakfast, beans, toast, scrambled eggs, fruit, plantains with cheese, and they made their black beans, refried beans out of black beans. It was really good. Really good. It was like the beans were really thick. And I think that was the Guatemalan way of making their beans. But anyway, very good stuff. Well, listen, guys, this has been great. Remember, the red flags are visual, but there's hidden red flags that one needs to really think about and analyze. Those are head meds. Those are what's hiding behind her bathroom cabinets. What about her debt? What about her relationships with her parents, her friends? Does she have male friends only? Does she fight with girls, her girlfriends? You know, what is she like under the covers in terms of not intimate under the covers, but what is she like when at the end of the day she's able to, how does she deal with drama? How does she deal with stress? You got to be careful about that. It's been great. Rebel against defeat, chase excellence, masculinity, men first.